This conference will now be recorded.
So I think that the one thing, like, is there anything we want to talk about with the memory analysis stuff, Yogesh?
Yeah, so for that work stream, I think majority of folks are uh, choosing morning time, uh, which I know it's bad for you, but it's bi-weekly, and I think one of the sessions was start at 7, and then um, later we can switch to a little later time when the daylight saving times change the time offset with PRC. Evening times especially won't work for folks who are in Europe, right? So for them it becomes just a super odd time, like 3 or something, unless we do like super late, then it's super odd for. So there's no good way of making it work. I think majority have chosen for around 7 a.m. Pacific time, or 8 a.m. Pacific time, somewhere around that time frame on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. That was the last. And yeah.
Okay. Well, Monday's doable early for me. The other days are the days that I'm actually in the air. Not able. I have to pay attention to where I'm flying. So, uh,
So
but okay.
Monday you can do it. Okay. Oh, that's good
Yeah,
to know.
Monday at 7 is fine.
Okay. So I think then we should be able to do that, because most people are saying 7 a.m., 8 a.m. or before 9 a.m., which is 7 a.m. So I
And
think then
8
let's.
a.m. Yeah, 8 a.m. generally works for me too, any day. But 7 a.m. doesn't. So that's cool. Yeah, we can figure that out.
Yeah, a lot of people have just given one time, which is 7 a.m. So maybe let's start with that, and then we can make adjustments as we go.
Okay.
And it's bi-weekly, so it should not
Yeah.
be.
Yogesh, could you add me please to the meeting?
Walter?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I'll do that. Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. And then I guess that was one topic, and I guess the other one is, I agreed to make some changes. We had some plans to update the doc, and I think people did. I saw a few changes, and I did a few as well. Do we want to cover that today?
You mean the requirements doc that we plan to contribute soon?
Yeah, the semifinal.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying, that there's a lot of activity. A lot of sections have been reviewed, not only once but twice. And uh, your I have assigned a lot of sections to use for bringing up in discussion today. So let's start scrolling through. There are some things. There's some minor things still, like terminology. For example, we want to say handling or logging. We want to say data center or fleet. Things like that nature, which are minor, but then there are some things which also need a little bit more discussion. So let's start with that.
Okay. Well, that sounds good. So, what I'll do is scroll through the doc, I guess. Did you want to jump somewhere in particular?
I think let's go from top. So first of all, Scott Ramsey, would you please take a look?
So, okay.
I'm just checking on you, Scott.
Okay. So here we are. I'm just scrolling down. Uh, and I rebuilt the table of contents. I took out just to put it. I took out the definitions up front per our discussion last week. Copied them all into the glossary and then linked the first one, the first instance to the glossary entry, so that if as someone reads the document, they don't know what it means, they can just click down to the glossary. Um, and so here you see BMC first, and if I click that, it goes to a bookmark. The bookmark is down here, and here's BMC first error logging. Oh, and I didn't mean to put this link here. I'll remove that link. So that was a link to itself. We didn't want that. So anyway, you can see some more. I don't know. I did make some changes. I fleshed some of the definitions out. I don't know if we want to review them here. I don't think any of them are controversial, except for I struggle with this being called processor firmware, and so I called it management firmware because like a management processor that runs code, we consider that management firmware. If you say processor firmware, I tend to think BIOS or UEFI, but that's not what this means.
Right.
So
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
are we okay just calling it management firmware? And it can be like some ARM cores have management processors. This would fall there, and you know, there may be a processor in a South Bridge if it still exists, or our management processor in an x86 CPU, and so I just call that all management firmware.
Yeah, Drew, I think I'd get rid of the BMC
Right.
reference though, right? Let's make that a distinct thing.
Okay. Oh, and just
Wait
to
a minute,
save us
so it's just the core, not the BMC,
the management
right?
cores,
Is it,
not
isn't it, isn't the management cores of the processor or the BMC? Because the processor is inline. The
I'm
management
saying let's use
BMC is
different
out of
terminology.
line.
Yeah, I'm just saying let's use different terminology for firmware running on a management core inside the processor versus firmware running on the BMC, right? Because those two things might need to talk to each other, and then it's going to get confusing. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I think we can
So
maybe.
yeah, so we don't have a term for one of them right now, right?
Yeah, I mean we could just say BMC firmware, right?
Yeah, I think that's simple enough. Yeah.
Yeah, we do
So
mention BMC firmware in the rest of the document, so that's appropriate.
Yeah, that works.
okay. Yeah, I think that's fine with me. Okay. And so I don't know what else to say there. So there you have it.
That's enough.
And I'm gonna just accept that change since we did it together, just to
Yeah.
like so we don't put up the comments. We need to clean up the comments. Okay. I think the rest of these are pretty straightforward. I spelled out what decoding is and why we wanted a little bit more. And it's basically pulling the fields out of the error logs in a machine parsable format, um, and put why. And I cleaned up some of these other definitions I should have left changes on, but I didn't radically change any. I showed you the one thing I changed the definition for. I didn't self-link that. Okay. So anyway, but welcome feedback on this, and I guess I need to fill out a definition for reporting. I see. But then what happens is I'll show you if you think something's confusing or would benefit from the definition, we can search for BMC firmware. Okay, so this is the third instance. I'm just going to go to the first. So if I want to make this a reference to that, I can hit Control K, and usually the first link will be BMC firmware. Oh, I didn't bookmark it. Hold on a second. So if you bookmark it, then it'll show up when you try to link it. Is one of the common things. So, and this is just a trick that we can use in the rest of the document for references. So you go down to Insert Bookmark, and then if you hit this, you'll get a link to the bookmark. But I don't really need it. If I go back up, now I should be able to hit Control K and or just add a link. And there's BMC firmware. So now if you click that, it'll go to the definition. So just as an example. Okay.
Hey,
So
Drew, can I interrupt real quick? Can
sure.
you go back to that section 8? Because I might be able to, while we're talking, do what it needs to be. Remind me again, what's the purpose of this section? Initially, to me, it looks like a laundry list of things we wanted to add later. But that's the case, it shouldn't probably be here or in the backup.
I don't know. Like, is that in the backup? That's not in the backup. That's part of the main document.
That was the section where we started collecting what all specification changes we'll need, right? Is that
It-
8, right?
Yeah, and see the stuff that we're not including in the document that Vilas left for legacy is beyond this stop. So 8 is included.
No, I know, but okay. So the intent of this section is for any specifications that need to be influenced or changed to support this framework proposed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll do some rewording because some of these things look like just like a laundry list and it doesn't make sense.
It needs cleanup. It's no, yeah, please do. I guess Yogesh, the other person that probably has some input here is Antonia.
Yeah, is he on the call? I think, yeah, I sent him a message today to take a look at. So yeah, I'll work with him on this section. I can add his name too.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So I'm going to scroll back up. So thank you for your patience. Okay. So anyway, so I got rid of that section, and now it just links to BMC first, or Node, or OS first, or platform firmware first. For the first time, each of those is used. But if you ever see somewhere it's confusing, please fix it. So then, did you want to go over those tables that Mark suggested last week that we?
So yeah, we can do that. Do you just want to go like? Let's go through.
Okay.
Look for your name assigned to you, because I think there are some kind of fundamental things. For example, here, I think. Okay, go down a little more. So I think one of the things I noticed is logging versus handling.
Where is
So
that?
in the background material or initial material, I think one of the changes that Anil made was change from logging to handling or vice versa. I don't remember what. So I thought maybe that's something we need to think about because we don't want to have. And that was a kind of a little harmless kind of example, but there could be more which we still have not freezed out completely.
So I see, therefore, error handling methods are required. I mean, that makes sense. I think
Okay.
this is a new picture.
Yeah, so this also we need to discuss because Anil added this in the background material, and I was looking at it closely, and I thought, okay, this needs some discussion because I think, yeah, let's take a look at that. Do we all agree with the kind of demarcation or ownership of various uh, various parts of the stake by various entities in these three? So for bare metal, it seems. So I think first concern I had was what's the distinction between customer and end user?
Well, I think end user. So let's say that someone runs a service in Google Cloud that that plays a game. Okay, the end user is the person playing the game, and but the customer for Google Cloud is the company that published the game. What I would say though is that for bare metal, I think we just take. I don't know if we even want to mention the end user. We just have a customer and they do what they do, and we don't know what they do, and they may have an end user, or it may just be internal to the company. It may, and it's kind of a blind thing.
I think we need to take a look at it from the management perspective. So if suppose an application is running, application has no say in handling of anything.
Well, hey
Right?
Rama, I think there's some sorry, Yogesh Ram. I think that feedback came from your end because you're the other mic that was really loud.
Oh, no. I think maybe you can remove end user and just explain the customer, all right? Like,
Sorry, I was talking about your microphone. There was feedback. It was a noise. But yeah, I think we can just have customer on bare metal. But go ahead, Yogesh. I'm sorry. Could you say that again?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? So the idea is, okay, so your services are running. Do we have any instance where service actually could have any say in handling of any error, or gets a notification of any error? At the most, it is the operating system, or which is kind of the and I think customer also is kind of a little open vague term. I think we need to have.
But I think it is okay to have application there. You know, I mean, this drawing is fundamentally helpful because
Application is fine, yeah.
they may
Yeah,
recover
maybe,
poison, right?
okay.
Yeah, or you can just collapse. Maybe you guess what you're recommending is collapse services and application into one layer.
Yeah, for I think bare metal, it makes sense. But it's an important distinction for application because, like, if you think about Meta, right? Meta doesn't rent their cloud out, as far as I know. Keep me honest, Meta folks. But you do have a service that end users use. So, you know, I think it is the drawings were fundamentally good. The other thing that I saw that I thought was missing here was hypervisor because on the infrastructure.
That would be your okay. So you're saying in infrastructure you want to show a hypervisor or VMM and then VM running
The OS,
OS.
because the end user's OS could run, but if the CSP owns the hypervisor can log the hardware errors and, you know, manage the hardware on behalf of the CSP.
Yeah, I think like Scott was saying, I like that line of thinking. For sake of simplicity, we should limit it to maybe where the OS is, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, Yogesh, I don't really see why we need to limit it, right? Like this is a drawing for background. I think it makes it crystal clear that it helps crystallize the problem statement, which is the errors need to go to the CSP. And the only places where the CSP is like, you know, always present is that firmware layer, right? And I mean, it just really helps crystallize that problem. And Drew, I agree with you, right? Like, you know, one or more of these should have a hypervisor, right? And,
The infrastructure absolutely has to. The application,
yeah.
plus the beauty of application is the application folks can do whatever they want behind the scenes. And so, you know, like we may run our stuff in a container and not in a virtual machine. So I think I'm fine with application the way it is. But for infrastructure, the hypervisor is key, and I do think we need to add it. But I don't think we have the source for the pictures in here, unfortunately.
Anil is on the call. Anil, can you are you listening? He sent a message.
Sounds like a no.
No, I mean, if I have to, I could redraw the picture. It's going to take me 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
I would prefer to have the pictures embedded if we can.
I think it's a great picture, right? It just really,
Yeah,
you know, crystallizes the problem statement. So
I thought it was helpful. I saw it and thought, yeah, you know, it needs a little work, but with feedback, it's perfect. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think the key is I'm going to put a comment that we need um, hypervisor layer. I guess column, for lack of a better word. I'm so sorry to make you watch me type.
So while you're typing, for everyone, I think we are generally using three terms interchangeably: CSP, fleet operator, and cloud provider. And is that fine with everyone?
Well, I thought that VLOS had suggested we move to server operator because that's more general. So I'm kind of inclined, and I'm willing to do some grunt work to make that happen, but I'm kind of inclined to make that change because it isn't just cloud service providers.
Well, in case of server, in case of bare metal, who do you call server operator?
I mean, that's generally a cloud provider, but you could have an internal uh, organization in a company that rented out machines to whoever in the company, and you don't control what these other parts of the company do, right? I mean, I don't know, Vilas, you look like you came off mute to say something, so I defer to you, but I like the term you suggested.
Yeah, I just think it's, like I said, I just think it's a little more general, right? I mean, it could just like service provider, right? Or server provider, right? Seems,
It's just, I mean,
yeah.
it's accurate, but I don't know. I see tendency for from others who are reviewing to use cloud and fleet mode, CSP cloud fleet mode. So maybe it's not as commonly used.
So then maybe let's do a different thing. I assume, Drew, that in the definition section it defines CSP. We could just
Oh, that's
define
a
it.
funny adjustment. I don't think we have.
So why don't we just define it to include like,
Yeah, you can just add there also called.
cloud and yeah, like whatever. We can just tweak around with the definition in here, right? And then
Yeah,
be done with it, right?
that's
I agree. Like using CSP as a as shorthand, cloud service provider as shorthand is fine, right? And we just define it to be more general. So, okay, cool.
I'm just taking a note for now, and we'll clean it up.
yeah.
And that's just a note for me to make sure I put that in the definition. Okay. Uh, so reminding myself. Okay. So back to where we were. Sorry about that. Okay. So I think if uh, uh, Anil can't do it, I'll just redraw the picture and add it. The hypervisor. I think, but a hypervisor is absolutely critical here because the CSP and the infrastructure does not necessarily own the OS. I think that's the one mistake on this drop. Okay. So then we have these tables. I'm just so
So before we dig into table, let's make sure everyone understands what the table is about. So what's the title there? It's a hardware component error classification. Okay, so we're trying. So
yeah, we were planning on reviewing it here. Uh, so I'm fine with the review, right? Let's walk through it. And this is based on the framework that Mark had proposed earlier, right?
yeah, I'm just realizing this might have been reviewed before, but yeah, let's go through it quickly just to make sure this is terms are still aligned with what we have used because this came from a different document, right?
Yeah. So I think it's funny it says revert back to sampling. Any corrected error logging is most likely sampling because if you have full speed errors, even the OS taking interrupts can't log and clear them fast enough. So the hardware will most likely overflow. The overflow bits get used in the hardware. That's just the way corrected errors work. But that's fine. We don't need to change it. This race condition does apply below as well. Maybe we add it. So, okay, the thing where I've got a little bit of a parity error is we're not really talking about the SEL here. That's a implementation detail that was, I don't know. When I think of SEL, I think the IPMI SEL.
So yeah, I think that's what it is. But what is trying to say? Comment, platform shell, capture error, source information in. So you just want to say generically log, system log or something?
So capture error logs and in a way that they can be exposed to the CSP. Like that.
All right, BMC here.
Sorry, someone said something and I was really quiet.
No, Anil unmuted, I think, and he was on another call. It seemed someone else was talking or something. Hey, Anil, are you here? Are you listening to us, or you're still multiplexing?
Yeah, he posted in
Yeah,
chat.
sorry. I was multiplexing. Yeah, so what is the question? Sorry. Do you need my help?
Not here. The question. So, hey, we need the source to this picture because we need to make some changes to it. The operating system is typically not owned by the infrastructure. It's usually a hypervisor with an OS that. So we let customers rent VMs from us. They provide the OS. We give them a VM. So there's a hypervisor layer that's really what's owned by the cloud service provider.
Yeah, I was struggling with that. I wanted to keep it simple, so I kind of kept OS hypervisor as in the same layer. But we can add. By the way, the source actually is on the same folder. Because I know somebody is going to ask that question. So if you go to the folder, the Google Drive,
yeah,
you will find this Visio drawing.
I don't. Can we not do it? Can we do it? I'd rather just maybe I'll just redraw it in this tool because we can embed the picture, the source to the picture, and make changes. Because I don't happen to have Visio, so you know, we all have the drawing tool that's built into this document.
I tried that. Maybe I could not figure it out. Therefore, I went to Visio. But I can change. You can change it, or I can change. It's not very complex drawing, right? We can.
Yeah, it'd take me 10 minutes to redraw it,
Yeah,
so I don't mind doing that. Okay. Okay. Well, that was the thing. Yeah. For us, from my perspective, the hypervisor is pretty important. So,
okay, that's fine. That's
it's
fine.
point of control.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So I just said make them visible to CSP because that's the general requirement. We happen to be using the BMC here. Platform. Now, this is kind of assuming SMM in a way, right?
So 1 second, Drew, are we not using this SEL terminology in this document?
SEL is an IPMI artifact. It is not part of this plan.
So what are we calling when the errors are propagated to BMC?
Well, it's something entirely. So the IPMI SEL, if you've ever like every instance I've used, it's something small. You send these relatively small events, and when we talk about having an error logging API, we're talking about being able to gather very detailed information about the failure that wouldn't fit in any SEL entry. I mean, even just basic things like the channel rank bank row column address of a memory error plus the bits that were flipped wouldn't really fit in the SEL. SEL is just not. That's like a legacy IPMI thing. You know, that's not even comprehended in Redfish. Right? There's new stuff for Redfish.
Okay, no, that's fine. Just let's define what the terminology is rather than verb using a verbiage here, right?
Well,
What do
well,
we want to call
no, hold on. We've been talking about this, so you've missed a few meetings, I suppose, but and we don't. Well, I got to be careful about revisiting this. We are intentionally saying that there will be an API that publishes things to Dbus, that there will be a redfish schema that exposes things on redfish, and that there will be redfish through the cloud provider's infrastructure. And we are not talking about the specific interface that we use between, on these errors. It's up to the vendor to figure out how they deliver the errors to their library in the BMC.
I see. Okay, then that's fine. I mean, I was it's okay. Then just wherever there is a cell, replace it with this verbiage.
Okay, and the key here, I mean, this is really important though, is that the vendor has hardware and the vendor has a library, and somehow it's the vendor's job to collect everything that they think that we need to debug their silicon and send it up to this library. Then the library exposes it through our infrastructure to an analyzer, and the analyzer tells us what all the stuff means. And what our goal is, so machine check banks are kind of limiting. There's a lot of detail that can be captured about things in the system that might be proprietary, that might not be something that a vendor wants to describe, but they can pass that up to the analyzer, and we can do more than we could in the past. So we want richer. The key here is it's richer. And so I'm intentionally not saying how here. It just makes them visible to TSP, and the rest of the document talks about the how. Let's see. And there must be no race conditions. That's good. It looks like that was copied from above, and that's good. True. Now it says DC tooling. I mean, sort of. It's the analysis, and like we're saying we're proposing an analysis infrastructure that proposes actions, and then the tool selects the appropriate action. So I may clean this up with the proposal.
Yeah,
I don't think.
just leave a note edit for now. Let's make that. Yeah. Same message, different words. Yeah.
Yeah, and it may be that we have multiple analyzers, and we have to pick the analyzer we believe. Like if I have a power problem and a CPU error, I'm probably going to ignore the CPU analyzer if I know the CPU had crappy power and say, no, it's a power problem. Let's fix that first. It could be that we upload a new analyzer that says you've got a bad CPU on every CPU, and we'll have rate limiting, and we'll say, you know what? You've cried wolf today. You've said this too many times. We don't believe you anymore. We're gonna invoke some protections to our fleet and block you. So that's where the DC tooling comes in. But the initial action we want to come from the analyzers. So the same comment applies here. Okay, and then I will just. And it's really not error source information. So that's another distinction I would make, is that error source information is classically what you get in the machine check bank. Oh, you had a memory error, but well, that's where the error was detected in the memory controller. But was it a power problem? Was it a socket problem? Looking at the pattern, you might say, wow, it's every rank in the channel that I'm seeing problems on. And you might conclude that, you know what, any one DIM would be challenged to create this failure. It might be a problem with the circuit board. So, it's not really, we're not after the source. We're after detailed error logs from which we can draw deeper conclusions. And let's see, platform shall return control. That all looks good. So I think the other thing is there's a missing step here, and that is that kernel either either recovers or crashes depending on the nature of the failure and the kernel's capabilities. Because you don't always recover. And if it was a kernel data structure that was corrupted, the kernel went bad. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm speaking up because I'm opinionated, and I welcome other people being opinionated. So autonomous crash dump is a brand name of a particular vendor's solution. So I'm going to call them error logs. While it's doing that, I'll just say collect. I don't know that this is a matter of. I think this is wrong. Like on like for instance, since we use the term autonomous crash dump, I'm going to give A and B some airtime. If you have a sync flood, there's no returning to the OS context. The OS is gone. So, right, Vilos?
Yeah, until after the reset. So I don't know what the intent of the.
No, it seems like it's kernel panic. So yeah, this is wrong actually. Next step is kernel panic. So I think.
I'll just say,
yeah,
I'll
that's
just say
wrong.
reset and then delete kernel should panic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and the DC tooling comment applies too. Okay, and then it's really platform shall capture error logs. It's the exact same thing. It's just a different set of sources. Okay, remote reset. This is, I don't know what this is. This is not part of the framework Mark Fletcher has proposed. I think we should just not distinguish between remote reset for the purpose of the document, because we really, unless someone feels strongly, but Mark, keep me honest. I thought you just said there's the cases where the CPU doesn't have power and can't run, and that was all you had.
Yeah, that's right. I think these are a very corner case, and code execution is not possible. So I don't think there's any remote reset. The platform will power off by itself.
Yeah. So we'll just do that. Okay. Well, I want to stick to what we had agreed to before, so that sounds good. I mean, Mark, are you cool with that?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay. Okay. And I'm happy to go clean up the DC tooling and just talk about analysis and make it fit this proposal. Now, I guess what I'd like to do is accept the changes I just made so that we don't clutter these comments up. Is that okay with people?
I was thinking, Drew, maybe we can do it offline and maybe go through another table table that we thought will. There are some comments here too. Actually, this one. Yeah, so there's some changes here. Error handling methods versus system architecture for error logging. So I thought
Yeah.
maybe
Oh, wow. Yeah. So I'm sorry, Anil. I'm not sure I'm following this. I think this is really an architecture. It's not. It's not really methods. Methods. Methods would imply like a box with interfaces. Where this is a series of connected things. So Anil, do you have a reason that you don't think it's a system architecture?
I think he left the architecture piece of it, but rewarded the rest. I think we should just stick the title of this document in there: Fault Management Infrastructure Architecture.
Okay. So, whoops, I was going to go up and get it, but I see. So, proposing so you're saying fault management infrastructure architecture? Is that what you were proposing?
Yeah, hardware. I think that was the topic, right? Hardware fault management infrastructure, or even hardware fault management architecture. I think that sounds better.
Okay, I like that better. The word methods was just a problem for me.
accept a few and reject reject. I think Anil's thing. No, you don't want to accept that. Maybe okay, you have to accept that because you're changing.
I
that
do
again.
want to accept it because I think we've cleaned it up. So
yeah. Okay, fine.
so see now, I mean that's why I'm saying propose, and no, it doesn't aim to it proposes addressing.
I was avoiding just proposing and propose in the same line, but
Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Because
Yeah.
okay, I agree. I was just want to accept a few of these because
Make it readable. Yeah.
yeah, right. It makes it readable, and also we're so cluttered up on the right with comments, we can't make sense of anything anymore.
Oh, I must have accepted like 200 today. I accepted a lot of dots and commas and this kind of things
Yeah.
also.
Okay, let's see. Carlos, document refers to this as BMC first error logging. Sure, that's cleaner. I mean, this just seems like little cleanup. So a little cleanup. Let's just. I kind of lean towards just accepting some of this stuff because it'll make the document be a little easier to review. And you're absolutely right. It's hardware, Carlos. So we are strictly we're not debugging the kernel. Let's see. Standard interfaces. How do we, if you delete it proposes, how do you get that? Standard interfaces. Oh, standard interfaces allow. Got it. I'm inclined just to, I'm inclined to accept this. I hope I'm not making anyone real angry, but this kind of cleanup. Standard interfaces allow the BMC to communicate the error logs to CSP's management infrastructure and allows component vendors to provide analyzer tools. Yeah. I mean, that seems a straightforward cleanup. I guess you could do that offline unless this is controversial, but.
Yeah, I think we have 10 minutes. Do you think we can go through that table in
Go,
10 minutes?
yeah. So, and if I have to, I could just meet with like whoever is most concerned with how this table works. I think Mark is one of the key people, but Mark, I took your feedback to heart and tried to fill this out. So, I think maybe it would be best, like this may take more than 10 minutes, but generally there's security and performance concerns. OS first works sometimes, but if it doesn't work for bare metal, generally, because we don't own the OS. I say it's not encouraged here because in our experience, oh, I screwed up. That isn't true here. Just looking at this, it doesn't apply to corrected errors. So I need to go back and fix that.
So one question I had, so Yogesh sent me a link and I followed the link, but I didn't get this copy. The version that I saw was the one we reviewed last week. So I couldn't really make comments on this at all.
Well, I worked on it this morning, so that may have been the problem, Mark. Go
Yeah.
check the link again.
Okay. So the idea is, this is one of those things I can look at offline and put comments in.
Thank you. That'd be great. And Mark, if you want to ping me, and I'm happy to just grind through this with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I hope it won't be that hard. I mean, honestly, if I have any issues, I'll just comment it and then maybe we can
Okay,
talk about it next week.
sounds good. So I need to clean this link up, and then or this one fell up. And so you can see what I've tried to say. So, but I tried to keep it pretty short. And
Well, it
I
should be.
and
It should
like I
be.
said, sorry, Mark. And there's one class of power loss errors. That's why I didn't want to add a second class above. And I tried to address it here. So yeah, Mark. I mean,
Okay,
like this.
the link is good now. I see the changes.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I've been working on this document a little bit every day, and I had some time this morning to get this table done. When I'm under the gun, I get it done. And I was under the gun to get this done. So sorry, I didn't realize you were going to look at it earlier.
Well, yeah, doesn't matter. It's okay. All good. So do we want to talk about some of these now, or do you want to just wait for comments?
I mean, are any of these controversial? These white ones are the ones where it requires some thought.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to review them, but the idea is I don't expect anything here to be that controversial.
Okay. Accept my spelling of bare metal. Okay, there we go. Fix that. Okay. Well, thanks, Mark. So I appreciate that.
So, Dhruv, I think, what do you want to do the next? I'm sorry, you were saying something. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, we got 7 minutes left. How do we, was there anything we need to jump into? How can we use that?
I
I was
think
just
we're
kind of
both
thinking.
thinking the same things, right? So let's go towards the end of the document. I think there are a lot of sections which are just totally untouched, or it seems like they're not. So 7 would be one. I'll work on this, and I'll also ask Antonio to take a look. I don't know, Neil has it, but I don't think he has taken. And I saw you actually inserted this diagram. This was new, right? The one that is showing the flow. Just scroll up a little.
What,
Yeah,
this one?
yeah, this was there before, or am I just
Yeah,
thinking?
I drew this long ago in the original document.
Okay, so then I think that serves as the example that we were thinking about. Vilas, do you think we want anything more than that? Because I was thinking of the one that I presented in the Global Summit.
I mean, the only thing would be having a drawing that shows the sort of error reporting path on
Okay,
all these.
so yeah, fair enough. I think I can, yeah.
And
I see.
I think that's where your drawing was better than this one.
Yeah, I can do that. I can bring it in.
Yeah. The one you had in the Global Summit was good, Yogesh, right?
Yeah, I agree. I like the Global Summit one too. Okay, so if you can bring that in, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and someone changed this. So thank you. Oh, Carlos, awesome. Carlos has been busy. I love it, Carlos. Thank you.
And I really love it. I mean, Carlos, you're awesome, man. when
he is. He gets this stuff done.
I just keep erasing stuff then.
Well, and we need to crispen it up. We need to boil it down. Like it just gotten too fluffy. I don't know. So thank you.
Yeah, just a little Intel joke. I was about to send you a recognition, then I realized I cannot anymore.
Don't worry, Yogesh, I'll take care of it.
Thank you, Vilas.
Oh, Carlos, you're ex Intel?
I am.
Okay, I didn't know.
Cool. He's seen the light. It's happy hour here,
It's quitting time for you. Yeah.
Are you already on the patio, Vilas?
Yeah. I'm not on the patio, but I do have the drink in hand.
Your mind is there.
Okay. Well, so I think we wanted to have this reviewed, end of the month. That'll be before the so like next Friday we should be done. So Yogesh,
I think Drew, I'm going to add another week to it. I'll talk to John also, but I think we'll need a little bit more time here. So let's see how much we can get done by next week, but maybe we'll have a little more time after that to just wrap it up, clean it up. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Anyway, we gave ourselves till mid Feb to basically have the final version ready, and then we'll see what is the first intercept we have for IC presentation.
Sounds good. So, and like, is this folks like Amber that are on the IC? Like, can I grease the skids with anyone?
John is right here. We don't need anyone else.
Oh, good. Okay, John can tell us what we need to do.
John is Jeff. Jeff is
contacting her at this point is much too early. So when you get your IC presentation ready, then you should go brief.
Okay, I just didn't know if I need to build support ahead of time or what, but you
generally not. I mean, the IC is not trying to hold you guys up.
I see. They're just trying to make sure we did it right.
Correct, and have a collection of companies who want to bring this through. And
awesome. Okay, well I think we have that. So okay. Well then I think it's just a matter of running through this review.
Yeah, we should end it on time today. Very, very good work. Thank you very much, everyone. I think finally we're getting it to closer.
This is awesome. I'm really excited about our progress. Okay, have a great weekend and enjoy your beer, Vilas. Oh, I think he already is. Too late.
No, I'm still on my diet, so it's not a beer, but yes, thank you.
Okay. Well, your beverage of choice then.
Yes, dry martini.
Okay, that sounds good.
Nice. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yep.
Okay, talk to y'all later. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.